And I remember you pressing for receipts. Like you were definitely very stirred and very like assertive. Like, hey, this is what I need to see. Yeah, and I was like, go on, Eva.
That's right. I don't play. I learned. That was a lesson to be learned. But now more than ever, like, you know, we got a company, we got a brand.
Yeah.
There is no time for mischief.
So here's the real mystery. How do regular folks like you and me, who have families and real lives, who have careers and regular 9-to-5s, really fare in the personal finance game? Why are some hugely successful while others fail miserably time and time again? Those are the glaring questions, and this podcast will give you the answers. This is EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios.
All right, and welcome to another episode of EmpowerYou Financial with Eva Palacios. My name is Charles McGill. I'm your host. So excited to be talking to you guys today. But before we get started, got to make sure the credit boss, aka credit coach, is in the building. Miss Eva Palacios, are you in the house?
Yes, what's up?
Yeah. So we are pretty excited. We are trying to do a quick rush job here because we're so busy. Man, we were trying to do the podcast yesterday, couldn't get it done because we had all this other stuff we had to do.
It was nuts.
But hey,
we had a lot going on.
Right? It was good. It's been fun.
It was so good. I know. Will's like, how did you forget to do the podcast? I'm like, I don't know. Like, it was nuts. Like, we had a really busy, constructive weekend or week. And
Yeah, we've been cooking.
It happens.
It does happen. And I'm so excited about you. You guys are going to see some new content coming from Eva pretty soon. But yesterday we had like a video shoot where we filmed some different ads, some different stuff.
Yes.
And Eva had to act.
Oh my gosh. I swear. Like, I just wish, first of all, anybody out there who ever wants to attend one of these video shoots just to like see what goes on behind the scenes, like just let us know, because I know I would appreciate that. Like, if anybody, can I be a fly on the wall to see how you guys do it? It's so much work. And yeah, acting is not my thing. I'm like, I don't know how to act.
Yeah, but you did good. You did good. You were
You're like, just be you. I'm like, okay, but
that's the thing.
That's weird.
You didn't have to act like anybody. You just had to act like yourself. But just on demand. I was like, dude.
Yes, on cue. I'm like, oh man, like, oh, that's why these actors get paid big bucks. Like,
yeah. I'm glad
I couldn't even memorize 3 lines.
Yeah, that's right. You kept doing it. I was like, you're lying.
You're like, do over. I'm like, oh no. And then at the end, I'm like, okay, did I get it all? Because it's weird. Like, I don't know if I'm sure, you know, for anybody that like speaks publicly or on TV or whatever, like, do you remember what you say? Like, half of the stuff I just go, and I know it makes sense and because it's knowledge and information. But once I'm done, like literally saying what I got to say, I'm like, what did I just say?
Hey, maybe you black out. Maybe you just in the spirit.
I think so. I just like
caught up.
Leave.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, I guess is this your first TV appearance coming up soon?
Oh my gosh, yes.
For EmpowerYou Financial. You're going to be
man.
It's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sacramento.
I shouldn't say tomorrow because I don't know when people are listening, but basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's going to happen. You guys, it'll already, by the time you guys hear this episode, it would have already happened.
That's right.
But Eva's going to be featured on Good Day Sacramento, which is going to be exciting. So we'll have that out there for you guys to see as well.
Yes, super exciting. And you know, shout out to Marissa, who was like messaged one of the like news persons. And she was like, you need to just have her on the show. Like, she's doing some amazing stuff out here in our community. And yeah, so I don't know, like I don't know if they were just like, okay, sure. Like, let's just see who this person is. Or did they like go through all my stuff to qualify me? Like, I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm rushing to make sure everything is tip top shape.
Yes. And shout We got a new website.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
I know.
right.
I got to promote that. I got to throw that up there.
That's right. You gotta let the people know. Got to let the people know. Pretty exciting stuff. So, yeah, just a lot of good things going. Hope you guys are staying with us. And if you're sitting on the sidelines, because I've been seeing messages in our groups, and people are saying,
I know.
I'm sitting on the sidelines. I'm just watching. Don't sit on the sidelines.
No, don't. There's no fun there. No, we not. Nobody's gonna bring you water. No,
Yeah,
like
you got to get in the game.
You got to get in the game. You have to. Oh, yes. Yeah.
And so Eva's got some amazing things she's doing for folks. I mean, just so you guys know, I'm not on the sidelines. Yeah, obviously I'm actively like involved, but I mean, I'm also on a game plan myself.
We put Charles in the game.
Eva's also coaching me as well, because I need to get my stuff together. So I just have a I don't know, it's a pretty long journey. That's what that's the difference, but
everybody's got their own unique journey.
Yes, and I'm actively as well in the game. I just so you guys know, I pay Eva too.
I know. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you sending me money for this?
Hey, I'm a product of the product. I don't do that. I don't play around. Hey, she's providing the service for me, so I'm gonna pay her because that's what is proper. And because she does great work. It really is super helpful. It's gonna help me and my family and so many others. So yeah, no, you're gonna get this payment for real. Like
I'm not. When I get that notification talking about Charles McGill just paid you, I'm like, what? Why? But that just says a lot about you, and I think that is super important. And that right there is definitely next level. When you're a business owner and you're talking to business owners or you're talking to people with that type of mindset, there's no discount codes. There's no, can you hook me up? Or, hey, can we do this for that? Dude, pay people what they're worth. And chances are you getting, not you, but in general, most people get more for their money.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, know what you're investing in and be wise about those decisions, because and if y'all listen to the episode before the last episode, where some people came to me 2 years ago and I was just doing this for some free Starbucks. Y'all should have got me at that time.
That's right. Y'all should have.
But at the end of the day, I was giving away free consultations. Nobody was taking advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
And now put a price tag on it. People are like, oh my gosh, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I'm like, well, if you don't do something different, nothing's going to change. So invest in the right people.
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. It's the, the idea of reciprocity. It is a universal law that I believe that, God has on this earth. You reap what you sow. So if you invest in yourself, you're going to reap the benefits. And the thing is, I think that the one thing that you have to be careful about, which is what I want to talk about today on the podcast, is, are you investing in the right people?
Right.
And so, for me and you, I think we've been both very fortunate to find each other. It just like seemed to be, definitely, God had kind of orchestrated it. Because we're able to just talk to each other right away and get going. And we've been rocking and rolling since I guess what you told me it's coming up on a year anniversary, right?
By the way, did you get a sitter yet? You better have a sitter already.
Oh yeah, well,
make that on the to-do list.
We gonna make that,
please.
Yes, it is on the list.
We cannot be Empower You 1 year anniversary, March 6th.
Hey,
March 6th, 1 year anniversary. We cannot go without celebrating.
Yes. So, and that date, just so you guys know, that wasn't like the date where we launched necessarily. It was just the date that we first met, right?
Yep.
And came together and said, hey, let's do some things for your online brand. Like
we didn't even say that. Charles was all like, Charles was like, you don't have a website? What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
What? You did all of this just by doing it on Facebook? No. Yes. And then I had to show him and he was like, I am impressed, but we need to level you up.
We need to level you up. Because you told me, I was like, so how much do you charge for this? You're like, oh, it's I don't charge people. You don't charge people. Oh no. Yes.
Oh yeah, we can't have that.
We can't have that. So
blame anyway. Charles. Blame Charles for leveling me up.
Hey, but it's been great, right?
It's been amazing.
We've been able to grow this community, which has been awesome. We went from, a couple hundred people Empower You to nearly almost 2,000 now.
Yes.
We're continuing to grow. So anyway, but back to what I was going to do about the podcast.
Sorry.
Is the right people, right? Because you say this a lot. This is one of those phrases that Eva is like, I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but pretty much every time Eva gets to talk.
I wasn't paying attention.
Every time she's on the mic, she says, the right people.
Get with the right people.
Get with the right people. Get with the right people. And I'm just like, sometimes I sit back, I'm just like, man, she say it one more time. No, but I'm curious. I'm like, well, who are these right people? Right? Like, because you keep saying get with the right people. And I can imagine from someone who's listening, they're probably like, who are these right people?
Who's she talking about?
Who's she talking about? Never say a name. So because what I'm understanding about Eva is that the right people or getting with the right people is not necessarily, an actual person, but it's a concept, right? It's a way of going about, building relationships and building business. So let's get into that a little bit, Eva, today, because people got to know what you mean.
Yeah.
So my first question to you is like, what if you were to describe, the characteristics of the right people, like, what would you say? What are these right people look like, act like,
I don't know what they look like because they all come in different shapes and sizes. But the right people in my eyes are people that just care about people. People who will love you where you're at, treat you well, have characteristics of integrity, honesty, a little bit of, definitely kindness, but at the same time, a little bit of, a nudge. Like if you're thinking about doing something and it's going to be a good move for you, like they got to be able to inspire you, motivate you, nudge you into those types of directions. Those are my people.
Yeah. Yeah. So inspiring, pushing you a little bit, but how do you know? I mean, is this something you feel right away? Is it something over time? Like, what are some of those indicators that let you know?
Gosh, it's so crazy because I don't know. I mean, and for those of you who don't believe me, but I was an introvert. And then I got exposed to network marketing and I had to talk to strangers. And that in itself is scary and tough and difficult because you're like, what do I say? How do I say it? If I say something wrong, like, is it going to make them mad? But after years of doing that, you just get really good. You get really good at identifying people. And I don't know, like to me, it's a little bit of a game for me in terms of, okay, how many people can I talk to? Number one, but most importantly, how many people can I talk to that are willing to open up to me about their situation? When somebody can open up to you easy in terms of, just a natural conversation, not like, flashlight interrogation mode, but you're just having a conversation. And if that conversation can be carried well, and as that conversation happens, personal things start to come out, I'm like, oh, okay, this person really feels comfortable in talking to me, clearly. But most importantly, it's how they're talking to me tells me how we can vibe.
Yeah.
And it's all about that energy. It's all about that vibe. And I mean, I've even had conversations with you, Charles, where I'm like, man, this person is dope. Like they my people. just I don't know, just how well the conversation happens and what is talked about during that conversation too. So I just get really good at talking to people. And it's so crazy because I mean, I don't like do it by habit. I mean, I guess I kind of am now, but I'm just like at the end of the conversation, I look back and I'm like, so much information was given that I'm like, now I really know a lot about this person. And because now I know a lot about this person, this allows me to know whether or not I want to do business with them, whether or not I want to have a friendship or a relationship with them, because you got to protect your energy. You got to be good at reading people and deciding whether or not they're going to be a part of your circle or your life, because you let the wrong people in, they will suck you dry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that you mentioned there is kind of like that, the energy and the vibe. It sounds like there's a little bit of that, kind of like that gut, instinct a little bit.
Yes.
So tell me this. So has there ever been a time, because I've kind of went through this myself, where as you get older, I'm definitely more aligned with how my gut instinct is shaping up, right? I think when you're younger, sometimes you're not sure if you could trust your gut because you feel some certain ways, but then, sometimes you're wrong, right? Or sometimes you're right.
Yeah.
You're just like, I don't really understand. And then, because there's always people, you ask for advice, people telling you contradictory advice, people are telling you, oh, you just feel like this, basically like telling you not to feel how you're feeling or telling you it's something else. But as I've gotten older, I've definitely been like, you know what? No, I've seen this movie before. I know
how it's gonna end.
I got a feeling, and I'm telling you, this person is gonna be like this, and I can just feel it. And so I've been learning to trust it more. And honestly, I've been definitely more secure with that. But I'm curious, have you gone through, situations where, you might have, trusted the wrong person, where you maybe went for something that you felt like, maybe it was a gut feeling, like maybe I'm not sure, but you went for it anyway. And now you're, because I know there's got to be a reason why you're so kind of like, a proponent of, make sure it's the right people.
Yeah.
You got any stories like that for us?
Whew. I actually got two.
Okay.
Well, I had one, and as you said that, another one popped in my head.
Okay.
And they're both different. One is about a business and one is about a person.
Okay.
But yeah, your girl got took twice. And that is an ugly feeling. And so let's talk about the first situation. Let's talk about the first situation, which is, company structured. Okay. I made an investment, and at that time of my life, and I like to say, I generally make good business decisions and financial moves. And I just honestly, now looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? I mean, now, because my eyes are more wide open and my ears are definitely more open, now I proceed with caution. But back then, yeah, I made an investment, and it wasn't a big investment. It was a little investment, but then we added more to it, and we added more, and then eventually it turned big. And long story short, I have to say one of the reasons I made the investment was because of the hype that was happening at that moment in time. This was about 3 years ago. And everybody, the media, social media, my surroundings were all doing it. And I didn't want to have that fear of missing out. I didn't want to have that FOMO. I didn't want to be the one like, oh man, what? Eva, financial person, and she didn't take advantage of this. I didn't want that to be me. So I'm like, well, let's just do it. So we did it, and it was working. And I'm like, okay, well, let's do some more. Like, it's working. Let's do some more. Do some more. About 9 months later, I got took. But before I got took, guess what started happening? Everybody's like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, I want to be a part of it. Can I do it too? Yeah, you can do it. However, I will always tell my people, never invest more than what you can afford to lose. I'm not going to tell you, put this amount of money here. I'll tell you what I did, but I could afford to do that. If you can afford it too, great. If not, then proceed with caution, because that's the thing with an investment. It could be good one day and it could tank the next. So you have to be willing to take that risk. And at that time, and majority of my life, I'm not a risk taker. You won't find me putting dollars in the slot machines. Like, that's how bad. Not even for fun. Don't take me to Vegas to go play. Take me to go eat and watch shows. But so then I started thinking to myself, okay, well, I've never really been risky. Like, let's do it. Yeah, all bad. But the worst part of it, it wasn't even the fact that I lost money. It was the fact of other people following me because they believed in me, and they lost money too. And that was the worst. That was the worst. Even though nobody blamed me, not a single person was upset or anything, because I told them yo, I don't know how this is going to be. I'm trying it out first. So disclosure, I'm trying. We'll see what happens at the end. Well, at the end, it was bad. We're talking a Facebook group of hundreds of thousands of people were involved. It fell off the face of the earth.
100,000 people in a Facebook group?
Yes. Gone. Deleted. Done. We could not access our accounts. The money that was in an account, the account was gone. It was bad.
Wow.
So I don't even know. But yeah.
Okay, so let me just recap. So you invested basically, it sounds like in some kind of investment vehicle, some type of investment.
Yes.
With some business. The business had accumulated 100,000 plus people in a Facebook group.
Yep.
You were contributing money. It sounds like you said you started off small, but then it kept growing.
Yep.
And eventually you got to a place where after 9 months, the money that you invested was just gone.
Everything disappeared.
Wow.
Everything.
Do you mind me asking how much it was?
It was about $5,000.
Wow.
Which, I mean, that's a lot of money. I need down payment for a house.
Yeah. Shoot. I'm not it
could be a couple paychecks.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I know,
wow.
But it was across 9 months. And the thing is that, man, it was honestly, it was the hype. It was the vibe back then. It was the hype. It was the vibe. It was, you're just going down this rabbit hole and you don't even realize how, now looking in, whole bunch of red flags that I should have caught.
Hey, quick break here. Sorry to interrupt the podcast. We'll get you right back to it. We just want to spend a few seconds to talk about the EmpowerYou financial group on Facebook. This is Eva's private Facebook group where she gives free tips, tricks, and strategies to improve your financial situation. Join the over 1,000 plus member community and see the success stories of people just like you who want to live life on their own terms. Come laugh with us, tell your story, and share your victories. Just search EmpowerYou Financial in Facebook and join our free private group. Oh, and be sure to invite a friend.
So yes, let's talk about that because I think that's what people want to really understand about this.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you saw some red flags. So let's identify what those were. And then it sounded like you pushed through them anyway. But let's just first talk about what were the red flags that you if you're in retrospect, what were some of the red flags?
Yeah. It's kind of hard to say without giving it away. But, just some of the red flags were, number one, I should have been more diligent on, okay, if this investment is so good, let me see your bank account. Let me see your withdrawals. Let me see statements. Let me see some type of proof that this is working. And I can't believe I didn't ask those questions because, now you best believe. But even back then, I can't believe I didn't ask those questions because, prior to this, because this was 3 years ago, I've been in network marketing for 7 years now. Even in my own network marketing business, people would ask me, well, you say you make all this money. Let me see your back office and let me see your checks. No problem. Hold a moment. Let me open up my cell phone, real time. Boom, boom. So here you go.
So you were the kind of person that would show the checks.
Absolutely.
I know people that definitely would not. They'd be feel as so that's a red flag.
That's a red flag.
Y'all should have saw
that's
the face.
That's a red flag.
That's why we got to put this on YouTube, right? Because y'all should have saw the face that you was making just now.
That's a red flag. And let me take it back a little bit. And here's the thing. Again, I got really good at reading people. So if somebody just said, well, let me see your pay stubs because I don't believe you. If I think that person is just saying it just to say it, I ain't going to show them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But if it's somebody who's like, you know what? I've been in network marketing. I've never made money. I will partner with you right now. If you can show me proof of income. Okay, hold on. Let me see. You got the money? You got a credit card? Because if I show you, then you partnering. We don't go back on this. But those are the people that I have no problem showing my pay stubs to. And yeah, at the end of the day, we made multiple six figures. Mm-hmm. And along the lines, we won trips, but did you really win them or did you pay to get there? you never know, right? Yeah, or maybe somebody's like, oh, I'm on a company trip, but really they're not there. But they are someplace nice, but maybe they paid their way. I don't know. Social media, You just don't know unless you know the person. But, I'm on social media, so I got strangers coming up to me. So yeah, I never questioned when people asked me to see my back office or pay stubs. Why didn't I think of asking this investment group for the same thing? Like, I literally had a brain fart and I couldn't believe it. Mm-hmm. But that was one red flag, is if it's doing so good, then show me some proof.
Yeah.
If it's real, you have no problem showing proof.
Show the receipts.
Right? Show the receipts. Exactly. And that right there, I have no problem showing my receipts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. I've noticed that about you, not just that you are willing to show your receipts, but we've now have, had a couple situations where we, as a partnership have, tried to, partner with others. And I remember you pressing for receipts. Like you were definitely very stirred and very like assertive, like, hey, this is what I need to see. Yeah. And I was like, go on, Eva.
That's right. I don't play. I learn. That was a lesson to be learned. But now more than ever, like, we got a company, we got a brand.
Yep.
There is no time for mischief. There is no time. I get people all the time. Oh, can I sit with you? Let's talk about a partnership. I'm like, what do you mean? What kind of partnership are we talking about? Like, hold on. You got to guard the most important things to you with all of your life, because people will take advantage of situations and people. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the red flags that you saw with the business was the receipts, or the lack thereof. And so your suggestion is that we be firm on getting that social proof that we're looking for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And I think at the end of the day, it holds other people accountable. It weeds the liars out.
Yeah.
Weed them out. Mm-hmm. Weed them out. That's why I take pride in, having the 800 plus score. I have it. I could teach it. Who's teaching you? What do they have? Do they have the same thing? You need to call people out on it, especially if you're going to pay them money. Money's precious.
Okay. All right, Eva, don't get us in trouble now. Hold on. All right.
Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. So you said you told us a story about the business. And so now you had a story about basically the wrong person. So tell us a little bit about that, because I want to hear if there's different red flags or something that we can learn from that experience.
Man, this one was an individual. That was brought into our network. It was actually a part of one of my network marketing teams, not on my team. And that's another thing. Like, I know everybody on my team. Like, Susie brought Tom, who brought Bill, who brought Juan, who brought Michael. Like, I know everybody. And that's one thing that I take pride in, is I want to know who's a part of whatever I've got going on. There's no numbers here. There's no get as many people in and let's kill it. No, I want to know my people. I need to know how they operate. I need to know what their goals, dreams, desires are, so that we can be successful together. This was actually an individual on somebody else's team, same company, different team. And for me, and that's another thing. If you've got a servant heart, like, you just serve, you don't question it. You just do whatever you feel is organic. That's just how I operate. So this person came to me and she was like, gosh, like, you're amazing. You're doing really good stuff in your company. Your team loves you. Like, you've got camaraderie. You've got such a good culture. She's like, I know I'm not on your team, but, can you mentor me? And I'm like, yeah, like, sure. If you plug in, like, if you follow wherever we go, you are more than welcome to having a seat. I don't turn anybody away because, I just like helping people. And we got so close. We got so close to where people even thought she was on my team. Mm. And they just, after a while, they just assumed she was on my team. And I'm like, oh no, she's not on my team, but I help her. Like, I take anybody under my wing. Well, long story short, she took your girl. Mm. She took your girl. And it was actually such a huge scandal that she actually ended up in jail, in prison.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. So, what were some red flags? The receipts.
Oh, you know what? Now I think I remember the story. I think you told me.
Yes.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was about, I guess, see, I'll say just, so it was basically about it was a situation where the person was trying to coordinate at events, I'll just say.
Yeah.
And they were looking for people to invest in the event that she was coordinating. And basically she got all the money, including yours, to put on this thing, and the thing never happened.
Right.
Is that the long and short of it? Pretty much.
That was the beginning.
Oh, okay.
That was the beginning, and it got so ugly in a sense. So I started feeling a weird feeling like, okay, wait a minute, something ain't right. So basically she was, planning an event, I get corporate discounts, and, if we do it through me, then we'll get a better deal, just go ahead and PayPal me and blah, blah, blah. And again, like, we had built a relationship for 2 years. I'm thinking we good. And basically planned a trip, a couple trips. It was a trip to Vegas to do like a weekend. It was a 1 week in New York, and rallied up the troops. We all gave her this money. We show up as we had been planning it for 2 months. As the trip started getting closer, I started asking more questions. And the answers I was getting was not right. Like, for example, like, okay, I need to, like, what's the itineraries of the flights? What's the confirmation of the hotel? What's the car rental stuff? She's like, oh, okay, I'll send it. Never sent it. And I'm just like, this is really weird. Like, why wouldn't you send it? Like, I don't know if I'm booking something, me, I'm screenshotting everything and sending it everywhere. Like, I'm proud. Like, let's go. We're taking a trip together. And, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I'll send it to you tonight. Didn't happen. Again, didn't happen. I'm like, what in the world? I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if we show up to the airport and we don't get on a plane, then that probably would be the big red flag. No, but we got on the plane perfectly fine. I'm like, okay, we're like, okay. It's real.
That part's done.
It's real. We get to the hotel. I'm still like, I'm like, just so like, I'm an adult. Why am I feeling so weird right now? Like, if we get to the hotel, like, are we going to have our rooms? We get checked in. We're good. I'm like, okay, we made it. Now let's party. Man, then the whole thing of going to Vegas was J-Lo's last concert. It was her last concert in Vegas. And, supposedly we had bought like front row seats. Supposedly we bought front row seats.
Oh, man.
She had the tickets in her phone, the electronic tickets in her phone. So the night of the J-Lo concert, I'm like, okay, well, send us our tickets. So, in case we get lost or break up or whatever. No, on purpose. I was like, well, me and Will are going to go grab something bite to eat. So in case we don't make it in time, like, send me my ticket. We'll meet up in the line. Like, let's go. She never sent us our tickets. So now we're in line. No tickets.
Oh, no.
No tickets. So some crazy story came out, and I'm like, okay, now this whole trip was a sham. Some crazy story came out where somebody hacked into her account, took our tickets, and now we don't have front row seat tickets no more. Now think about it. Front row seat tickets in Vegas to see J-Lo. These ain't $20 tickets.
I can imagine how much they cost. Yeah.
These were like, there's a comma in there. Tickets got stolen. So then she went to go file a police report. I don't know where. She just went to go file one. I should have followed her. Made up police report story. One of the other couples that was there, because there was like 10 of us.
Oh.
Yes, 10 of us.
So it's not
with
just
concert tickets.
Oh my goodness.
With commas in them. One of the other couples was like, you know what? Like, I don't want this whole trip to like be ugly because your girl was heated. Your girl was heated. This was after the whole, other story I just shared. So, I'm like, oh, Eva ain't about to get played again. So long story short, this other couple's like, look, we're here. Let's just see if anybody's selling tickets. We straight up, I'm like, man, buying parking lot tickets. Like, how is this going to turn out? Luckily, we bought some legit tickets and we got into the venue.
Oh, okay.
We bought some tickets, by those guys. It was sitting with the birds way far away. We were all separated, but at least we got in.
Wow.
Long story short, we came back to some bogus story. And I'm like, I want my money. Like, if you don't pay me my money, it's not going to be nice. Like you just straight up took thousands of dollars from us. And I don't believe your story. I called her out on it. She's like, no, it'll work out. It'll work out. I'm like, long story short, apparently she's had this type of background where she scams people. And she's done it with companies, like employers, like embezzling. She's been in jail before, but her record was expunged. What in the world? Who is this person and how did they get into my life?
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of didn't remember it because I literally like blocked it all out.
Okay. Let me jump in here too. Cause I feel like we don't want to go down. Yeah. I can feel the passion. Like, yeah, but see, honestly though, now it makes sense to me why you say it so much about the right people. Why you're so like passionate about that. Because you're like, listen, I am not getting took again. Like, this cannot happen to me.
Definitely 3 times is not a charm over here for sure.
And it sounds like to me too, because, and also kind of respective of who you are, the community you've built, whenever you start to jump on something, people tend to follow you. Yeah. And so you feel the weight of that.
Absolutely. Your girl is not going to do that. No, it's so important. And we get caught up. We get caught up and people get caught up seeing, all the flashy stuff and all of the lifestyle stuff that people are doing. It may be true, but it may not. And whatever you got to do to protect yourself, your family, your money, your goals, your dreams, you got to ask questions and not be afraid. You got to get bold. These people are pressuring you to do business with them. Ask for the receipts. Be confident. Have that posture. Just as easily as they're trying to take your money, you should be as easily able to ask for proof.
Yeah, no, that's big. That's big. Because I think a lot of us get uncomfortable. We get uneasy about it. We're not sure. And so we end up, honestly, just kind of cowering down and not like because
we don't want to look like the bad guy. We don't want to look like the coward.
Yeah.
But no, you got to get good. Yeah. And I've gotten good.
No, I could. And the thing is, I remember like when we first started, like when speaking of our anniversary, but when we first kind of formed, because we didn't initially launch, everything right away. Obviously, I think the podcast came like 4 months later or something like that. The site, so things took some time to build.
Yeah.
But I remember as we were building and we were talking about different ways we would approach things and how we would, kind of like scale the brand, because we still have so much more for you guys. Just so you know, a lot more is
so
rolling
much.
Out.
Oh my gosh.
But what Eva's been like, very clear about from the very beginning, as CEO, she's been like, listen, like we need to make sure that, all of our T's are crossed, our I's are dotted when it comes to who these people are. Like they got to be,
right.
Got to be authentic. Like we got to make sure that that we're brand aligned, that we're mission aligned. Like she's been so clear about that, and which is spoke to me because that's who I am too, to the core. People that know me and do business with me know I'm a very principled person, and know that I don't skip lines, I don't cut nothing, like I don't slacking. That's not how I get down. So that really spoke to me and Eva. We're like, listen, we ain't cutting no corners when it comes to this stuff. So it's been great. And so, but now I understand even more. I think because I think you told me the story before, but I mean, just hearing it again, especially with the passion you deliver right now, I'm just like, wow, I can really feel, that energy of like, man, getting took is like, that is the worst.
It is. And again, it's outside looking in. It's like, man, I should have caught it. Like I make very good decisions. How the heck did I miss those things? I mean, the bigger investment, that was just hype. I definitely know that my mind was clouded and I was distracted and I did it because of FOMO. That ain't going to happen again. And then the other one was really just, loving on the wrong people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so if you were to step back and let's kind of talk about, once again, kind of answering that question, who are the right people? So, for someone who's been listening, and they're like, okay, wow, man, they can relate. They're like, man, I've definitely experienced some of those things. What are some of the red flags, just general red flags that you would caution people around? Like if you notice certain things. So we got receipts.
Yeah. References, success stories. Don't do something because Bill said to do it. Did Bill do it himself? And did he see success? What are the results? That's super important. Anybody can make a recommendation, but did that person actually, did they result in a success story themselves?
Yeah.
And I mean, and if the service or the company or the person is so good, then eventually they'll have success stories. You might just have to wait for them to happen.
Yeah.
And that's why I take pride in doing what I do, because it's not just about one thing with me. Yes, majority of people come to me to get help with their credit, but credit is just the one stepping stone. What are we going to do once those credit scores are to 700 plus? Oh, we're going to refinance the car. We're going to refinance the house. We're going to buy the house. We're going to buy the car. We're going to get better credit cards that pay them rewards. We look better on paper. Now we can borrow more money to do things like build a business or invest in real estate or make other investments. Mm-hmm. So credit is just the one stepping stone. You don't get just credit with me. If you stick with me long enough, you're getting a success story. Mm-hmm. And my goal is to create multiple success stories out of you, not just one. How many can we do in the next 12 months? It's not a race, but hey, if you got the right game plan, you can check off a lot of things on your goal board or vision board. But if you don't have the right plan, you might be stuck. And then time goes by. Money gets wasted because we're distracted on the wrong people or the wrong things. So that's what I say, get with the right people. Get with the right people that are showing those success stories, that have no problem showing receipts, that have no problem showing you what they have. Because if they got it, they can teach somebody else how to get it too. You just got to be bold when it comes to finances. You got to be bold when it comes to building relationships. You got to be very intentional and strategic with who you allow in and who you partner with. Because again, it's that energy. Partner with the wrong person, you're not going to feel too good. Mm-hmm. And then guess what? Negative breeds negative. No. You got to get with the right people.
Yeah, well, definitely. And I've noticed that with me too, like, especially with the entrepreneurship journey that I'm on. And this is something that I wish I would have did when I was a principal. And I didn't learn it because, it was my first really opportunity at managing people. But, there's that saying, hire slow, fire fast.
Yes.
Like it take some time. Make sure you do your due diligence when it comes to bringing people in your circle. Like, just like you said, like all the red flags, like make sure you're asking questions, make sure you're checking, like all those things, check the references, success stories, like literally like, go in and make sure that, you really are thorough about who you hire and bring in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, hey, if things start going left and you start getting that bad feeling, get out of there, and so I have adopted that definitely in certain respects. And I haven't, had to, thankfully, when I talk about fire people, I'm talking about more so like contracted work or just, people that I may have, agreed to do something with, but it ain't working out. I get out of there fast because, and so far so good. Right.
And not be afraid to not take on new business or take on that client, because at the end of the day, you got to protect your energy.
Yep.
Especially if you've got a spouse, you got children, you don't need to bring that energy at home. And, you know, for some worker bees, that sometimes happens. And lastly, I want to add, pray about it.
Yeah,
man, all I know is after those situations, your girl extra be praying all the time for stuff, because that is so important. Just, I pray every morning, connect me with the right people, allow me to impact lives, allow me to help people, allow, you know, what we're building to spread across the world.
Yeah.
And you just got to listen. You just got to sit quietly and just listen and pay attention to the signs that he sends us. And that's what you got to go with.
Yeah, that's an important prayer. I remember praying the same thing with you. I remember we talked about that. I was like, I'm saying that prayer now. And then some things happened. And I remember I told you about it. You were like, remember that prayer you just prayed? I was like, oh yeah. God started making things happen. He started moving people and start adding people. And I was like, wow, that thing shifted quick.
Real quick. You'd be like, what? What did I do to deserve the answer right now?
Exactly. You know, that's what you wanted? Yeah. So that's good. That's good. Okay. So we got to get out of here. But, you know, if you can, just leave the people with one last golden nugget when it comes to, you know, get with the right people. Cause you always say it.
I know.
You're going to say it right now. So what would you say for those folks who are like, man, Eva, I want to follow that advice. I want to get with the right people. What's one thing they can start doing right away?
If you feel you don't have enough experience to vet the people you're about to do business with or have relationships with, then look around you and see who is a good person that can read people. Always ask for help. You don't have to do these things by yourself. Ask for advice. Ask, you know, somebody that has been there, done that. Hey, what do you think about this? I have people all the time. They're like, okay, I'm thinking about doing this. What are your thoughts? And I'll tell them my thoughts. Would Eva do it? Yes. Would I not do it? Why wouldn't I? Or here are things to consider, because, you know, you can't ask that one question to 80 billion people, because it depends on what your situation is. So at the end of the day, yes, definitely got to get good with building relationships. You know, I tell my people, don't sit on the sidelines too long. There's only so much stuff that you can do while sitting on the sidelines, being a fly on the wall. Ask questions, reach out to that person. Now more than ever, everybody's like, I've been watching you from the sidelines. I'm not ready to pull the trigger. I'm like, okay, great. When can we talk? Like, let's talk about it. What are you afraid? Those who are afraid have been burned by someone or something else. Don't let fear paralyze you. Just look for all the right information, acknowledge the red flags, and if there are too many, get out of there.
There it is. All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Eva. And thank you guys for listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Empower You Financial with Eva Palacios. One of the things that Eva enjoys most about being in personal finance is seeing people win. So if you are looking to improve your credit score because you're ready to make a major purchase, get better rates, or start living life on your own terms, visit Eva at evaempowers.com and schedule a consultation with her so you too can live life empowered.